Okay, let's cut to the chase. Today I want to start a little bit of a series where I kind of look at every single Jurassic franchise movie and kind of pick out my favorite moments from each of the films. Now, of course, this type of video might vary in length depending on how much I like the film and how many moments I actually like from it, but I want to kind of like take a look, like a little bit of a positive look at these movies that I do absolutely love. We'll be starting from 6 all the way to 1, so starting off with Dominion. But keep in mind that these are probably not going to be as in-depth as, say, Cinema Wins videos. This is simply just going to be something just highlighting my favorite bits of a movie. And, of course, everybody can highlight your favorite bits from these said movies. So, once again, we will be starting off with Jurassic World Dominion. Now, this is a movie that I was disappointed with overall. Like, there's a lot of, I feel, missed potential with this movie. And, like, a lot of my videos have kind of highlighted that. But there are things about it that I do like, such as the opening montage where you get to see dinosaurs in the mainland, just kind of scattered throughout the whole world. That's something that I was really looking forward to see in the movie, and the little portions that it did happen I thought were really good. Such as the kind of like ceratopsians that were captured illegally and being held in captivity and that sort of thing. I really like things like that. Seeing that was really cool. Or just seeing the Quetzalcoatluses like flying around the skyline, making a nest on top of skyscrapers. Just, little fun things like that. I'm also a sucker for dinosaurs mixing up with Western type things. I really like Western movies. And of course, Owen Grady wrangling in some Parasaurolophuses was absolutely fun to see, even though it is a little bit goofy because he's like, he's a couple 100-pound man, and this is a multi-ton dinosaur, but he's able to, stop it with a stump. But all in all, it was still really fun to see, especially in the snow setting. It's definitely something that stands out. Another thing that I kind of like is Alan flippin' Grant, Ellie flippin' Sattler, Ian flippin' Malcolm. Of course, who's not going to like the legacy characters who get to finally show up in this movie after not really making an appearance in the previous 2 films. And I thought that they were utilized to a pretty good effect. I mean, it was really great to see Sam Neill and Laura Dern and Jeff Goldblum again. Like, there are a few instances that I wish they were utilized a little bit in different circumstances. For the most part, I really liked it. I really liked seeing Alan in his paleontology setting. And just all around, it was really fun to see them again. I'm also a big fan of the Malta sequence, like the black market sequence, because this is another example of seeing how humanity is reacting to the presence of dinosaurs in the real world, now that a lot of them have access to it. And one of those things where it's like they're showing the dangers of what kind of effect this type of power can have on the entirety of the world. And of course, some illegal things would be happening like this. And it was really fun to see, especially with the kind of the chicken fights, essentially, as well as certain dinosaurs and other prehistoric animals just being sold off. And, it was just really fun to see. I am a really big fan of the Therizinosaurus scene in this movie. I thought that was one of the best paced scenes in this entire movie. Coming from a movie that had a lot of very fast-paced scenes that just quickly went into the next one. I thought that this one did have a little bit of time to breathe, and it was done in a really good way, like with the Therizinosaurus just kind of clicking as it slowly approaches, the revelation that it is actually blind, and of course just watching Claire just try to avoid it as much as possible. Also, the added benefactor that herbivorous dinosaurs would probably be aggressive too. It doesn't matter that they just eat plants, because of course several animals today are extremely aggressive, regardless on if they're an herbivore or a carnivore, because sometimes they'll just get spooked, or sometimes they just whatever the case may be, there's gonna be a lot of aggressive animals, and showing an herbivorous dinosaur being aggressive was really cool to see, and again is one of the best tension builder scenes in this entire movie. I also really like the Dimetrodon cave scene. I really like the lighting in that scene, just being lit by a torch, especially with it kind of shining through the Dimetrodon sail. The use of practical effects was pretty decent as well. All in all, it went by pretty quick, but it was still a very cool scene to see, especially seeing Dimetrodon in the Jurassic franchise. Definitely not a dinosaur. It is a synapsid, and its design is pretty off as well, but still very fun to see. And this is a relatively small one, but I also enjoyed seeing BioSyn Valley catch on fire, simply because I thought that the cinematography was very cool. Like a lot of the dinosaurs that were shown were kind of silhouetted, and you also see some silhouettes of the deer and things like that. that was really cool, mainly for just how cool I thought that it looked. And I realized that I think I did some of these out of order, but I also really like the first encounter with Rexy and Zeb, the Giganotosaurus. Mainly because it felt like an actual animal encounter. Like you had two apexes who converged on the same kill. They both wanted the food. And then once one realized that they're probably going to get injured in a situation like this, then she leaves. It was very cool to see that kind of naturalistic portrayal of these animals. Of course, the Giganotosaurus is one of the most naturalistic portrayed dinosaurs in the entire franchise. Like, it acted a lot like an animal throughout this whole film. And this is another example. It's like, okay, I'm bigger than you, I get this kill, sort of thing. It was really cool to see, even though it was just a quick, brief little moment. And I believe that's pretty much everything I have with this movie. Of course, I don't think it's an absolutely terrible movie. I just think that it kind of fell short a few places, and I was kind of disappointed with the overall direction that they went, instead of choosing a storyline that better suited what Fallen Kingdom had set up. But I still do get a lot of enjoyment watching it, and I love watching the behind the scenes things, and I will always appreciate seeing the legacy characters again. This is probably for the final time, but it's still really cool to see them back on screen. That's pretty much all I have for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have an awesome day.